So this one was laying down.
Yeah.
You can just see the mark on it. So we used a block and tackle and my gantry to pull it up.
Oh,
That's
okay.
a heavy stone.
And you reset it in concrete.
Yeah, no, well that's the original stone slot.
Yeah.
Louis reset it.
Yeah.
And then we got it up with put the concrete around.
Yeah.
And then I put this brace on because just in case, just to, we don't want it to go. We don't want it to go over again.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the heaviest tombstone we've dealt with.
Heaviest intact tombstone.
Intact. You're right about that because
There might be others that if we had all the pieces.
Oh God, place to become a nightmare like that.
So what are you using? Just water, or is there
Just water,
right?
That's what they say now. Don't use anything else. Just use water until it comes in.
Yeah, it's the only place
Soft
With a soft bristle brush.
I don't know what kind of chemical reaction will take place or cause it to break through.
Do you want to know where Sir Galahad is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's one on me.
This stone is a very heavy stone, and it was laying on its back on the concrete piece here. Now we used the gantry which I made and a chain hoist, and we got it lifted into position back into the original slot, and then we've cemented it in, and I made a special brace. This stone is just a little bit of cleaning. This is just purely with water and a soft brush, and you can just start seeing some of the details, the flowers, and then gone but not forgotten. The clasped hands, and William died in 1886, and then the inscription on the bottom, which is usually biblical, something like that. This is a stone that we've recently stood up. It was laying on its back. It's a very heavy stone, but it has some interesting details. It has a frieze of flowers right across the top. It has the weeping tree, and it is very early. It's 1843, which is only 4 years later than this other very early stone. But I made originally it was in that slot, but that slot was caught up in the roots, so we couldn't use the slot. So I just used my brace system to stand it up. The brace system I often use is repurpose some of the old railings.
And this is the first.
And that's the one we did with
the oldest stone.
Ellen. Yeah,
Ellen
that's the
Sutherland.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this corner is a lot of the earlier stones are in this area, aren't they? When we first came to work on Wilson's Hill, this area through here was completely covered in dead tree debris and also a lot of brush, and you couldn't even see the tombstones. So when we cleared, we found these stones. That one I repaired. That one was leaning on that tree over there, so that's gone back to exactly where it should be there. That's complete. And then this morning we did this stone here, and this stone has a connection with a lady in Australia. We just got that, and that's the slot, but again the slot was too broken to put it back in the slot.
Now, what's the connection with Australia?
Tracy, connection to Australia?
This is Emily Spears. She was, I think, 3 years old when she was scalded by hot water. When somebody was cooking, they tripped over her.
She is part of the Spears family. James Spears was one of the original trustees of the cemetery. And one of our research assistants is a distant cousin of hers, and she lives in Tasmania, Australia.
So when we finally, got everything cleared, we could see all these monuments. I did some. This tombstone is 1908, but originally, the burial that was here was in a 8x8 plot, and it was the two Chapmans, Sarah and can't see, Charles Chapman. But those pieces were buried over here. I was probing around. This is the modern cornerstone, but I was probing in there, and I found those pieces. So when this monument was put in for this man, Robert Gilroy, they must have taken the old monuments away, and then I found the railings behind. There were some railings behind the monument. So then they expanded this monument to the one there, a 16x16 plot. So they went from an 8x8 plot to a 16x16 plot, and the poor original people were just sort of buried. I mean, okay, you'll have to edit that. Were absolutely, disregarded, really. That's what I think. I haven't found. I have not found any more of that tombstone. This stone was kind of interesting because it just wobbled back and forth. It must have had a steel pin in the bottom, and so what I did, I just put this brace around the back and a little bit of concrete just to steady it up. This stone over here is in very bad shape, and we think it went in that slot, but we're not sure, and I don't know what we can do. There's just so much of it missing.